Yeah, so I was just having breakfast and I caught Kyle Beats' new video, and I really liked the guitar he used on it. And there's like a special effect he used with his drip plugin, and I was like, I gotta do it. I gotta do something like that. So I came up with my own chords, and yeah, I was able to get it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's so washed out. Yeah. Love it. That's it. Woo. Yo, what's up, guys? So it's no new news that every year people are upset when they see a deserving artist snubbed from getting a nomination or an award at an award show. But while most people probably couldn't tell you how the voting process works, there's often a public perception that there is some foul play involved with both the nomination and selection of Grammy Awards, and recent events have led to the call of boycotting future events. However, there's been some recent changes to the entire nomination process that may end up turning this entire perception around. Now, before we get into the changes, let's try to understand a bit more about the Grammys. The Grammys are an award ceremony presented by the Recording Academy every year, usually sometime between January and March. These awards are given to honor the musical accomplishments of performers from the previous year. Except that's not really true. The Grammys operate on their own definition of a year, which they call an eligibility period. This is usually a period of time that starts 3/4 of the way through one year and continues on to the next year and ends 3/4 of the way through that year. Any music commercially released in the United States during this time is eligible for consideration for the following award ceremony. The time between the eligibility period closing and the award ceremony starting. It varies year to year, but is usually around 4 to 5 months. At the date of recording, we're currently in the eligibility period for the 64th annual Grammy Awards ceremony, which is scheduled to be held on January 31st, 2022. Now let's talk about voting. How are Grammy winners chosen? Voting is not open to everyone. Only members of the Recording Academy are eligible to cast votes. And joining the Academy is no easy task either. To get in, you would need 2 strong recommendations from music industry peers. Each year, the 11,000 members of the Recording Academy get to cast votes on whoever they believe should be nominated for a Grammy. This is the first round of voting, and members are allowed to vote in the 4 main categories of Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, and Best New Artist. Now you may be wondering why there are 2 categories for the same thing: Record of the Year and Song of the Year. The Record of the Year represents a specific recording of a song and is awarded to all of the artists, producers, and engineers involved in the process. The Song of the Year award is awarded to the songwriters of a song, so anyone involved with the writing of the lyrics or the music. So in addition to voting in the 4 main categories, voters can also vote in up to 15 of the 80 other categories. This entire process is called the general membership vote. After this, the nominations that receive the most votes will go on to the next stage of voting. In the main 4 categories, the top 20 move on to the next round, and in the other categories, it's the top 15. In the next stage of voting, a nomination review committee will review the selection made by the general membership and then vote to determine the finalists for the nominations for each category. For the 4 main categories, 8 nominations will be chosen, and then for the other categories, it'll be 5. So these committees are populated by 15 to 30 highly skilled music peers, all of whom are ultimately chosen and approved by the chair, CEO, department head, and board of trustees. How these committees end up choosing who they nominate is not quite certain, as this information is not disclosed by the Recording Academy. However, in a 1999 article by the LA Times, an unnamed committee member shared that they narrow the 20 nominations down to a consensus 8, based off of what songs they believe are worthy of getting a Grammy, and then they cast their ballots to be counted by a third-party accounting firm. You may be wondering, why do these committees even exist? Why should there be appointed people who can cherry pick the 8 finalists from the top 20 nominations? Now, if you thought that this process isn't right, you wouldn't be the only one. It turns out that the leaders of the Recording Academy thought the same thing too this year, and recently announced some major changes to the voting process. In a statement made on April 30th, Interim President CEO Harvey Mason Jr. described the new changes that would go into effect immediately for the 2022 awards show, saying that they were to further refine and protect the integrity of the awards process. In this statement, we learned that the nomination review committees are eliminated for the 4 main categories of Record of the Year, Album of the Year, Song of the Year, Best New Artist, as well as all other genre fields. Not only this, the Academy also had a re-qualification process which sorted out anyone who is no longer active in the music industry. Finally, the number of specific genre categories that a voter can vote in was reduced from 15 down to 10. This was done in an effort to ensure that voters are only voting in categories that they're both knowledgeable and qualified in. With more transparent voting for Grammy nominations, fewer people may come away from the whole awards ceremony feeling like a certain artist got robbed of an award because either 1, the more deserving artist might actually get the award, or 2, because there is no room for fiddling around with a voting system that anyone could point a finger to. This new direct voting system very well could mean that more people will pay attention to and support the Grammys this year. I'm not sure how the Grammys could change to make the voting more accurate though. What I'm talking about are the 1 or 2 songs that gain a lot of attention that people in the music industry aren't going to deem Grammy worthy. I think that there will always be those types of songs, but what's important is to remember that the Grammys will always be somewhat exclusive in that type of way. If Grammy voting were open to the public and therefore the internet, I'm sure that there would be lots of votes that would ultimately further harm the public image of the awards ceremony and cause the individual awards to lose some status. Also, there already is a way to compare public opinion on songs, albums, and artists. Every day, people essentially vote for their favorite artists by streaming their songs or purchasing an album, which is reflected in the Billboard charts. What is promising for the future of the Grammys was the membership increase late last year, from around 10,000 to over 11,000. Hopefully, by bringing on these new members, we will see a more accurate depiction of the achievements of the most deserving individuals in the music industry, as these new members will help decide who will be leaving next year's Grammys with an award. So with that said, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. And as always, make sure to smash that like button and to subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.